In this section, I want to give you a little bit of background and an overview of SRI International. If you've ever used a computer mouse, watched HD television, talked to Siri on your iPhone, known anybody that had robotic surgery, all of those sorts of innovations and many more were invented here at SRI. SRI is a world-leading research and development organization. We're a nonprofit R&D organization based in Menlo Park, California, in the heart of Silicon Valley. And for the last 65 years, since we were originally founded by Stanford, we've been driving innovations here in Silicon Valley and around the world for a variety of different clients. Our mission as a nonprofit is to discover and apply science and technology to helping solve the problems of the world, whether those be hunger, disease, economic problems, technical problems. We're really driven to understand science and apply science and technology to help people around the world. As we do that, there's 6 different areas that I'll just want to cover really quickly with you. The first of those, obviously, because we're here in Silicon Valley, is information technology or information and computing science. We have a big lab focused on software and security and vision technologies and speech technologies, all around how do we as individuals interact with computing systems and how is that going to evolve and change over the next several decades. We've got another group focused on education because we at SRI believe that educating our young people, our children, is critically important to the success of our societies over the next several decades. And so as schools, as elementary schools and high schools around the world are increasingly buying tablets and other technology to put into the classroom, what teachers around the globe have observed is that they don't really have the software, they don't really have the tools to be able to use that technology effectively. And so we here at SRI have a big group focused on helping to understand how to use technology to make the learning process more efficient. We're really excited about that, and we think it's going to have a big impact over the next several decades. Big group in biotechnology and health, focused on drug discovery and disease treatment and diagnosis. That's a real big, important part of our research efforts. And we have a very large engineering and systems group that builds big-scale systems. For any of you that have ever come to Silicon Valley and wandered around the Stanford campus, you may have seen the dish. It's a famous local landmark. That big radar dish up in the Stanford foothills was built by SRI in the early 60s, so 50, 60 some odd years ago. We still run it today, and coincidentally, in case any of you ever use GPS, that dish calibrates all the GPS satellites around the world. Little piece of trivia for you to know. And we've got a large material science group that's doing a lot of work right now in biofuels and bioalgae, as well as carbon capture and nanoparticles, a lot of advanced material science that's used in a wide variety of disciplines. My team is focused on the application of science and technology to help develop economies and to drive the process of innovation. And so that gives you a sense of where SRI's people and research are focused. Okay. So now the really important thing to recognize about SRI and the reason we're really here delivering this workshop to you is that as an organization over the last several decades, we, with our 2,500 employees, generate every year, roughly speaking, about 500 patent disclosures. So our researchers and our scientists every year go to our legal department, to our intellectual property office, our IP office, and they give them 500 forms saying, I've invented something I think is cool and might be worth patenting. Our process is that every single year we want to winnow through, filter through those 500 ideas and figure out which 1% of those 500 ideas are worth launching a new company around. And we do that repeatedly year after year after year. What we want to share with you over the remainder of this workshop is how we manage that process. How do we take those 500 ideas, figure out the value proposition, figure out which ones have champions, which ones have the right teams that we can put together a new venture and spin it out of SRI successfully. And that's what we'll start doing in the next section.